Got 1 strawberry.
All right, very good.
3 blueberries.
I like it.
1 kiwi.
Okay. Well, don't know about that.
And 2 pieces of chocolate.
Whoa! Hey there, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio HQ. I'm Ben.
And I'm Sabrina, and today we're reviewing a little game called Frenemy Pastry Party by Mizo Games.
This is a 3 to 6 player card drafting game that plays at about 30 minutes for players ages 8 and up.
To set up the game, you place the ingredient cards and cake cards in the middle of the table and deal 2 ingredient cards to each player.
Every player also randomly selects an animal card, but does not disclose which card they got.
Once everyone has their cards, the first player is whoever has most recently eaten the most cake.
And that was you. You start by taking one of 2 actions. 1, select a cake you want to bake, or 2, select an ingredient from the baker's table, at which point your turn is over. If you decide to bake a cake, but you don't have all the ingredients in your hand, you can ask someone if they have the missing ingredient.
The person you asked can say yes and lay down that ingredient, or they can say no. Lying is actually allowed in this game. If you are able to collect all the ingredients required to bake the cake, you have a successful bake. If you do not end up with all the ingredients, then it is considered a baking failure. If the bake is successful, the player baking the cake gets the cake card and puts it under their animal card. Also, if another player assisted in the bake by contributing ingredients, they get to put those ingredients under their animal card.
If there is a baking failure, the cards simply go back to each person's hands and the cake card goes back to the original position. The game ends as soon as there are only 2 cake cards left or you run out of ingredient cards.
The winner is whoever has the most points under their animal card. Cake cards are worth 5 points. Ingredient cards are worth 1 point. There's also a bonus on each card specific to each animal.
So this is a quick, easy game to pick up, set up, and play with, especially if you're trying to fill the time or bring in some new gamers or non-gamers, kind of like us.
I really like the art for this game. I'm a very visual person, and so the ingredients and the cakes themselves are realistic, but they still have a touch of whimsy to them, and they're just pretty. I like them.
Yeah, I do like the art overall, but I'm not a huge fan of that kawaii, cutesy type Asian art style. But that's really only on the animal cards, and that they only come out at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game. So that's not really a huge part of the game. But I had this, what I thought was a gerbil or a hamster. I don't know. Turns out it was a dog. So. But overall, yeah, I do like the art as well.
The directions are really clear, albeit a little small. They're in a booklet about the size of this box, so the size of the font needs to be small in order for it to fit, but they were easy to understand and follow.
Yeah, and anything that we didn't quite understand or got lost in translation or just felt like there was just missing information, we were able to kind of build together and really see our way through it, because again, it's not a complicated game.
There's not a lot of strategy to the game itself, but my game plan was basically just to see which 2 cards I was dealt, look at the cards that were on the table already, the ingredients, and which cakes were there, and from that I decided which cards I could get and which cake I could bake the fastest, and so I just I took that route with it.
I think the game's marketed with a strong take that component. I mean, it's Frenemy Pastry Party, and there's a lot of talk of kind of stabbing people in the back and while smiling, you know. But that didn't really come out in the game we played, and there is lying in the game, but generally you know when someone is lying and why they're lying. They're trying to keep an ingredient to themselves so they can bake the cake that they're trying to bake and get those 5 points. And so not a lot of strategy. There was an opportunity for me to be more strategic, and I wasn't. It was towards the end of the game we were playing, and the final round, Sabrina asked for an ingredient, and if I had been keeping track of scores, then I would have known that we were pretty close in our scores. And I ended up helping her, saying yes, I did have an ingredient, helping her build that cake. She got 5 points, I got 1 point, and she ended up winning the game by 3 points. So if I had been keeping track of her score, then I could have said no and potentially won that game. She could have gone to our friend Joel, who was playing with us, and asked him. But if he had said no, then that would have been it. Her bake would have been unsuccessful. Bake over.
There's not a lot of strategy to the game, as we've been saying. One thing you could potentially do would be to count cards. Because as the game is going along, as you bake a cake, you keep the cake card, but it goes underneath your animal card. And other players who have contributed ingredients get to keep their cards, but they also go under the animal card. And so you aren't able to see, as the game plays out, who has what, and then figure out, okay, I need this many ingredients, or I need to bake this many more cakes in order to win the game.
Yeah, overall, this is a fun game. We enjoyed it. We'll probably play it again. So if you have a chance, you should check it out. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and keep watching and listening here and tantrumhouse.com. Until next time.
Bye.
Hey there, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio HQ. I'm Ben.
And I'm Sabrina.
And before we get started, I wanted to say this is our second review that we're shooting. And we got a few comments on our first review, and I want to highlight one of them. It was from none other than Will Meadows, friend, confidant, partner. He called our review, and us for that matter, adorable. Adorable. Now listen here, there's a truth bomb right now, man. I'm not about that. Come at me, bro. It's about to get real. Anyway, today we're reviewing Frenemy Pastry Party.
That's my line.
By Mizo Games.
You stole my line. What in the world?
That's the joke. He called us adorable, and I'm all upset, but we're reviewing Frenemy Pastry Party.
Oh, I get it.